Good evening. It's 6 o'clock on Tuesday, April 25th, 2017. Welcome, and thank you for joining us tonight for the English edition of Aura News, where we bring you today's top stories, translated into English every weeknight. Members of European Parliament David McAllister and Nut Fleckenstein arrived in Tirana today to help the parties solve the political crisis between the majority and the opposition. The members of European Parliament arrived at Rinas Airport at 1 p.m., where they were received by the EU Ambassador Rama. Afterwards, the Vice President of European Popular Parties, David McAllister, and MEP Nut Fleckenstein held a meeting with government allies Prime Minister Rama and Assembly Speaker Ilir Meta. Prime Minister Rama was accompanied by the chairman of the Socialist Parliamentary Group, Grandma's Ruchi, and the Socialist MP Taulant Bala. Meanwhile, the Assembly Speaker was accompanied by the chairman of Socialist Movement for Integration Parliamentary Group and the Minister of Justice. The gathering of MPs with the government allies lasted about an hour, and later the MEPs headed to the Democratic Party headquarters, where they held a meeting with the DP chairman, Lulzim Basha. It has been learned that the parties do not have a draft agreement yet, but if the parties reach compromise, a joint meeting of all the parties is expected, something which seems difficult at this time. Prime Minister Rama held a meeting today with the Assembly Speaker Ilir Meta before the members of European Parliament arrived in Tirana. Before meeting with the Prime Minister, the Assembly Speaker received the ambassadors of the European Union, United States, and the OSCE. The EU Ambassador, Roman Vlahutin, US Ambassador Donald Lu, and OSCE Ambassador Bernd Borchardt have intensified their efforts to help the parties solve the crisis through dialogue. The meeting lasted about an hour. We have learned that the political situation and the OSCE recommendations were discussed. Yesterday, the US ambassador held a meeting with the Democratic Party chairman after the opposition's protest after the opposition supporters blocked main roads for an hour yesterday. Today, the state police have filed a lawsuit to prosecution against the organizers of yesterday's protest. Police filed lawsuits against the Democratic Party chairman, Lulzim Basha, and 12 Democratic MPs who organized the opposition's protest, blocking 5 main roads in the process. State police consider the blocking of the roads to be illegal, and according to the criminal code, the organizers risk being fined or serving prison time for up to 3 years. The opposition's protest was held for an hour, and no incidents occurred. The opposition's protest was also held in 3 other cities, including Lushnia, Elbasan, and Milot. Fear police were the first to start a legal proceeding against the organizers and supporters. Just a few hours after the protest, Fear police sent the evidence to court for 7 organizers and 117 protesters, accusing them of illegal demonstration. Democratic Party Chairman Lulzim Basha spoke today at the protesters' tent, where he issued positive signals and was optimistic that the arrival of the members of the European Parliament could help solve the crisis through dialogue. Speaking from the protesters' tent, Mr. Basha declared that the solution is possible and declared that he will go to the meeting as the representative of Albanian people. Mr. Basha reiterated that the establishment of the provisional government is the main non-negotiable condition, declaring, "Today we have the chance to solve the crisis through dialogue. I do not represent myself or the Democratic Party. I represent the interests of the largest popular union. It is easy to find compromise for everything concerning me or the Democratic Party, but I do not withdraw from anything concerning the fate of free elections. We are offering an honest solution. We are not asking for power. We are not asking for Rama's removal, even though he deserves it, but we are only asking to give the Albanian people an opportunity to vote. We should end the old republic through dialogue. We are united and determined to go through this battle. We wish that reasoning prevails today. Let's pray also for our opponents. People will win through dialogue or confrontation." The chairman of the Socialist Movement for Integration, Ilir Meta, held a meeting today with the youth of Administrative Unit Number 8 and highlighted the importance of vocational education, declaring, "This is the time to pay more attention to the education of the young, more specifically to the vocational education." The SMI Chairman also added that the Albanian society needs more societal peace, saying, "We need more social peace in our families. For this reason, we need the positive message and cooperation the Socialist Movement for Integration offers. During a meeting, the SMI Chairman was accompanied by some of the Socialist Movement for Integration MPs and the Chairman of the SMI for Tirana. Work started today for the construction of the first five-star tourist complex in Albania. The resort, with a value of 90 million euros, will be constructed at Lalez Bay. The Prime Minister said that the resort will open a new chapter for tourism in Albania and gave the assurance that others will be constructed as well. The Prime Minister declared, "I am convinced that this will not be the only resort in the coming 3 to 4 years. This complex is an investment of 90 million euros, while in the future our ambition is to exceed $1 billion. Tourism generated more than 10 billion euros in 2016, being turned into a strong pillar of the Albanian economy." Prime Minister Rama added that today, Albania is an even more attractive country in the field of tourism. The Prime Minister also said that 1,500 people will be employed with the start of the work on the resort, and added that the government intends to attract tourists from South Africa who are searching for new destinations because of conflicts. In other news, Tirana City Hall has started the reconstruction of the dormitories at the Student City No. 2. The project, which aims towards higher energy efficiency, was presented today by Tirana's mayor, the Minister of Energy, and the German ambassador to our country, Susanne Schutz. The dormitory buildings will have a new energy network that avoids the problems they currently have. The project predicts the installment of the new heating system as well as the renovation of the internal structure of the building. The new investment is expected to serve to 600 students who are presently living in the dormitories. The mayor has this to say: "We are joining our electric system in order to have better conditions for 600 students in Tirana. It's a pity to see that we have some prisons with European standards, while the dormitories resemble old prisons. I'm glad that the parents of these 600 students who have brought their children to Tirana as the place of opportunities will now see the dormitories in better condition. The dormitory is in fact their second home. This project provides affordable energy prices for the students, reducing the energy bill by 20%. To the Minister of Energy, the reconstruction of dormitories, according to the principle of energy efficiency, this means saving up to 20% from the energy bill. The minister announced that this model will also be applied to all public buildings in Albania. Meanwhile, the German ambassador declared that the German government has offered 15.5 million euros for this project, 9 of which will be used to reconstruct the energy system in 4 dormitories, improving the thermal isolation by renovating the heating plants. That's all for our English edition this evening. Please join us again Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. for your local news in English. My name is Cosmo, and on behalf of Our News, thank you and good night.